Welcome to the Purity for Life podcast, episode 140, Why Porn Addiction is Not the Real Problem. For more information on this podcast and other great content, visit purityforlife.me. Hey everyone, my name is Frank Honus. Welcome back to the Purity for Life podcast this week. Hope you're having I hope you've had a great weekend and are getting ready to enjoy a brand new week. God has some great things planned for us and great things in store for us. This week I want to talk about the one major reason why porn addiction is not the real problem. Why pornography is not the real problem and the real issue behind our struggles and behind sexual addiction. There's a deeper problem and there's a deeper struggle that's going on inside of our hearts, inside of our minds, inside of the mind and heart of one who struggles with pornography, one who struggles with masturbation, one who struggles with same-sex attraction, whatever branch of sexual addiction you might be struggling with tonight, even if it's lust, even if it's fantasy. You have impure thoughts, you have sexual thoughts that you just feel like you can't control and leads to you acting out. There is a deeper problem there. A lot of times people think that the problem is the symptom itself, which in our case, in what was my case for 13 years, pornography actually wasn't the real problem in my life. It was only a symptom of a greater problem. And I want to talk about what that deeper, greater problem is this week. And I say quite simply, but I'm kind of giving you guys the punchline right now. I'm giving you the big idea, the answer to this whole thing up front. But the deeper issue that we struggle with, the deeper problem that drives pornography addiction, that drives masturbation, acting out, all kinds of things, is pain. It's pain. And so that might seem, wow, okay, all right, that's a pretty general kind of term, pain, but pain goes very, very deep in our lives, and it goes way back. It can span years and years of our lives. It can go back to childhood. It can go back to college. It can go back to a broken relationship. But pain is literally what is brewing underneath a person who is struggling with sexual addiction, who's struggling with pornography, who's struggling with whatever it is, whatever it might be, you name it. It's literally, and don't get me wrong, pornography is a total perversion of what God has designed healthy sexuality to look like. Pornography is it's an abuse. It's an abusive kind of thing, and it's a total twisted, twisted idea of healthy sex, of what healthy sex should be, and it's a travesty. I mean, it's horrible. We know this to be true. We know the addictive power of it, but pornography is a symptom of the deeper pain that we experience and that we feel in our lives, whether that's something traumatic that happened to us when we were younger in our childhood. Maybe you were maybe there was some form of physical abuse in your life. Maybe there was some form of sexual abuse in your life. Maybe there was you're a product of a divorce or of a parent walking out or the absence of a parent. Maybe there was some kind of maybe there's some kind of death in your childhood that took place. Of someone that was really close to you. But oftentimes there's traumas that takes place in our lives that cause deep, deep pain that we hold on to, that we really don't heal from, that we breed a lot of anger and bitterness and all kinds of emotions that flow. But pain can also be the negative emotions that we feel on a daily basis that we're just trying to run from, that we're just trying to flee, that we're just literally trying not to feel. And that is a huge, huge indicator that if we're doing those things, if we're trying to run from stress, if we're trying to run from loneliness, if we're trying to run from anger, if we're not addressing these things, and we're not literally feeling these things and working through them in a healthy way, we're going to find some way to cope, and some way to, the next kind of term, if you will, is medicate. And so and there's all kinds of ways you can medicate. There's all kinds of ways people medicate every single day. People who aren't even porn addicts, right, who don't struggle with sexual addiction, medicate through all kinds of different ways: alcohol and drugs, and movies, and whatever it might be, binging on food. There's all kinds of ways to medicate yourself. To try to numb yourself from the pain that you might feel from that isolation that you might feel each and every day. I'm reading a book right now. I think it's a fantastic read. You ought to check it out. It's called Feels Like Redemption by Seth Taylor, and there's a lot of great thoughts in that book. And so the thoughts, that some of the things I read to you here are taken from that book. So I want to give him credit for that. But just some fascinating thoughts here about kind of in the early chapters of this book, about pain and how we use pain to medicate and to try to numb those negative feelings. And like I said, that medication can have many different packages, right? It can have many different bottles. He says this in one of these. He says, porn really isn't the problem; it's the medication for the problem. I think the sooner we get that thought and that idea, we realize that we're medicating something deeper in our lives, and we need to go back and feel those things. He says there are many forms of medication, and all people medicate repressed pain that we push down, that we pretend is not there, that we don't want to feel, right? There always has to be some kind of medication for that, or else it'll come up and we'll feel it. And people don't want to feel pain. We don't want to be, we don't want to feel, we don't want to feel loss, and we don't want to feel anger, and we don't want to feel bitterness and loneliness and those kinds of feelings. He also says that it was a thought, it's a very, very interesting kind of thought. But other people in our lives, and this is why it's so important for us to be known by people and to know people. He says other people can help us see our repressed pain. That's one of the keys to what I think one of the keys to healing and recovery really is getting people around you. I tell guys this all the time. If you're not willing to have people know you, and if you're not willing to know people, and there's not this open door for you to have healthy people in your life, there's a huge amount of healing that you will not be able to walk into. And I really believe that there's a deeper healing that takes place in the environment of community, and in the environment of accountability and support groups and accountability relationships, when we invite people into our world, and when we invite people into our space, and we invite people into the pain to see. People can help us, like he says, people can help us see that repressed pain. And addictions another thought here, addictions point to deeper wounds, right? So the addiction that you might have to sugar, or to coffee, or to TV, or to drugs, or to alcohol, or to sex, or to porn, whatever it is, it points to a deeper wound inside of your life. It points to a deeper pain that you need to address. That's it right there. I mean, and it might seem really, really simple, but it's really the truth. And believe me, it's a difficult thing to peel back all the layers, because there are many people that just have so much pain in their lives, so much to peel back, so much trauma that they're not sure even where to begin. But we have to start somewhere. We have to start with finding out where the pain lies, and going back and realizing that that we need to find freedom. So I think it's kind of an interesting thought there that and it kind of takes you back a little bit, because we do view pornography as kind of the main issue when it comes to sexual addiction, but it's really not. It's a symptom of the deeper issue, which is pain. And so, I leave you with that today. I leave you with that tonight, this week on the podcast, because, it's really important that if you haven't started on this journey of healing, that if you're not sure where you're at, even if you're having continual slips and continual relapses, and you're kind of going back to the pig slop, right? Just like the prodigal did, you find yourself kind of going back in this cycle of, going back, then, asking for forgiveness and repenting, and then going, and maybe you don't have people in your life that are checking into you. They're checking, talking to you. You're not talking to people about your struggles, and you're really not going to that place. You're not revisiting and looking at your past. You're not looking at the painful, negative feelings that you have on a daily basis that you're running from, the things that you're trying to numb in your life. And so I think you owe it to yourself. Not I think. Wait a second. I know you owe it to yourself to look at that pain and to look at those places in your life where you are trying to medicate, where instead of feeling those feelings and dealing with those feelings in a healthy way, in a healthy outlet, you are allowing those things to, you're pushing those things down, you're repressing those things, and you're using porn or you're using whatever other substance to kind of try to numb yourself. And another startling reality he kind of says in his book here is that, we don't have the ability to selectively numb the negative feelings. When we numb negative feelings with porn or with whatever, we also numb the positive feelings and emotions that we have. And so we literally become a walking zombie. And we don't know how to relate to people. We don't know how to, we objectify the opposite sex, right? We don't know how to function, and our minds are just totally, screwed up. And we're living in just this twilight zone where we are just in just such a state of unconsciousness that we're not able to see clearly. We're not able to function. Maybe we function physically, and we get up, we go to our job, we come back home, or whatever it might be, or go to school or go to classes, but we're really not living. We're not experiencing life. And I say that to you because I lived that life for so long. For such a long time in my life, I lived that. And I don't want to see that for you. I want to see men free from this stuff. I want to see pastors free from this stuff. I want to see businessmen free from this stuff. Whatever role you play, fathers, husbands, right, sons. I want to see you, young people, old people. I want to see you be free of this junk and not allow porn and sex to come in and for you to believe the lie that's going to satisfy you, that's going to satisfy and numb the pain and get rid of the things that you feel that you're running from, whether that's as big as a trauma that you dealt with in your childhood, or if it's just stress that you feel on a daily basis, whether from your job or the demands that you feel, or maybe it's just negative feelings about yourself. Porn will never satisfy. Porn will never satisfy you. And it's time that we realize that we have to stop running from the pain and start addressing it, start feeling it, maybe for the first time in a long time, and working through that process. And so I hope that you'll find this to be beneficial. I am not a licensed counselor. You need to understand that. But I do know the path that I chose, and I do know the steps that I had to take in my own life to find freedom from sexual addiction. I had to start addressing those traumas. I had to start addressing those painful places in my life and really visiting them and dealing with them in a healthy way. And so do that this week and go there. Give someone a call, a healthy, safe person. Invite someone into your story to get the ball rolling. If I can be of any help to you, I would love to help out in any way possible. You can head over to purityforlife.me. That's the website, purityforlife.me. There's tons of resources on there, tons of audio and video content from former podcasts, and there's all kinds of contact information on there. You can get a hold of me. I work with men, but also women. You can females. You can send me a message, and I'll pass it on to my wife. My wife and I work together with couples on these issues, and my wife loves to help girls and wives and mothers and no matter where you're at, help you as well. So there's a healthy, safe place to go to. Just head over to purityforlife.me and check it out. Thank you guys so much for watching this week and for listening to the podcast. Kind of back a little bit on a normal schedule, hopefully, and kind of getting back here on recording on a weekly basis. So have a great week, and check this podcast out on iTunes, and you can check it out on the website and all kinds of places to download it. Just have a great week. Praying for you, believing for your freedom this week, and believing that you're going to be the person that God wants you to be. God bless you. Have a great week, and live a pure life. Do your very best. Fight hard. See ya.